Hello and welcome to Module 7 LGBTQ plus discussion. My name is Brittany.
My name's Alyssa, and let's go ahead and begin with a quick discussion of the articles that you would have read this week. So the following articles in perusal are going to be the ones on our topic. So the first one will be targeting a minority without alienating the majority, advertising to gays and lesbians in mainstream media. The second article is trying to be amazing. The third article, gays and lesbians know them. And then the fourth article, LGBT inclusive advertising is driving business, yet consumers demand authenticity according to a Glivy survey. So these will be the four articles that we are going to now discuss further in depth.
All right, so Article 1, targeting a minority without alienating the majority, first discusses, how we can get to know the homosexual community better. One of the things is homosexuality identity is only one of several identities incorporated into the gay and lesbian self-concept. The homosexual experience may vary between gay men and lesbians because for gay men, sexual identity has been primarily associated with gay activity. And the third is gender plays a more pivotal role in defining identity than sexual orientation. There are some examples here from the article. Lesbians may identify more as women than as homosexuals, whereas gay men tend to identify more as homosexuals. And there's a second example here, but the big question is, do the effects of heterosexually and homosexually oriented advertising messages affect men and women of either sexual orientation differently? So they came up with some hypotheses, and you can see them here as displayed, H1 through H4. And the study included, it's 200 some people. And it was across 5 US regions. Snowball sampling was used. Participants were asked to view four specific advertisements at random and answer a 3-item attitude assessment toward each ad, answer questions on a 1 to 7 semantic differential scale, and complete general demographic information, including their sexual orientation, age, and gender. The results were analyzed using the MANOVA scale, I guess, and there was a 3-way interaction of sexual orientation, gender, and advertising content that came together. And their results were consistent with hypothesis 1 through 4. Marketers from this study learned that you can target the LGBTQ community in 3 ways. You can first appeal to homosexuals by placing homosexually oriented ads in traditional gay and lesbian print media. However, a con of doing that is only a relatively small percentage of homosexuals regularly see print in that form. However, there is a pro to it. It is low risk. It is considered low risk of negative reactions by heterosexual consumers. You can reach the homosexual consumers in mainstream media using homosexually oriented content. A pro of this is advertisements are going to reach more gay and lesbian consumers. However, you do risk heterosexuals reacting negatively to the advertisement. The best case at a win-win situation is to leverage homosexual subcultural symbolism in advertisements in the mainstream media. And by doing this, you're able to increase advertising attitudes among homosexuals without undermining attitudes among heterosexuals. So some prompts for you to think about and also discuss on perusal. What are some examples of homosexual subcultural symbolism that we can use as advertisers to target the LGBTQ minority without alienating the majority? Do you think the 2008 study results would indicate similar attitudes of heterosexuals and homosexuals today. Article 2, titled Trying to be Amazing, uh, focuses on Chicago's Up for Amazing campaign that began in 2017. It was a first of its kind advertising campaign, and it was to increase LGBTQ tourism from within the US and abroad. They spent 15% of their funds for tourism, and it was dedicated to the Up for Amazing campaign. The campaign included print and digital ads in the mainstream media. This included a spot in 8 Midwest markets, a TV spot that ran during the spring and summer, and that it did end up continuing throughout the year as well. And also a section called Chicago Pride, which was featured in the magazine Travel Illinois. So what level of risk was involved with Chicago's campaign, Up for Amazing? What did Chicago's Department of Tourism get right with the campaign? And as future advertisers, what kind of advertising methods would you have used for this campaign? If you had the opportunity to work on a similar campaign for a different city, what would you do the same or differently? And it's off to you, Alyssa.
All right, Articles 3 and 4, we had much quicker reads and we had some statistical finds, as well as some different finds that we can apply to the future and what we know now. So the first article, Article 3, was titled Gays and Lesbians Know Them. All right, so almost 14 years ago, the Publicist Group and the Gay and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation hosted a panel with the LGBTQ plus consumer focus at the center, and that became the first of its time for Advertising Week. So a couple of the main takeaways from this panel was that a positive representation of the LGBTQ plus community in advertising creates a greater opportunity for acceptance. So this inclusion of the LGBTQ plus community allows for those who may not have a member of the community in their life directly to get more exposure and improve the likelihood that they can increase their understanding as well as their acceptance through understanding. Also, the more it became normalized to see members of the LGBTQ plus community on screens in commercials, TV shows, or movies, the more discussion and learning that was naturally prompted about the community. So some discussion prompts for this brief article. Do you personally believe that in the past 14 years since this article was released, the commercials that have been created, including the LGBTQ plus community, have helped to increase awareness, visibility, and understanding? And then also we're asking if you can recall a specific commercial in any recent year that has an LGBTQ plus focus that has prompted either discussion among you and your peers or also just deeper thought amongst yourself. And then article number 4 is titled LGBT Inclusive Advertising. And in this article, we learned about a survey based on over 1,000 Americans, including 400 people that identified as LGBTQ plus allies. And some statistical findings in this article that were important were that 64% of LGBTQ plus allies and 46% of all Americans are more likely to purchase from a brand who openly and actively supports the LGBTQ plus community in their advertising. And in contrast to that, a similar percentage also stated that if they see a brand directly discriminate against the LGBTQ plus community, that will lead them to making efforts not to support the brand, whether that be purchasing them, following them, anything of the sort. Also, 68% report that in order for a brand to be considered an LGBTQ plus ally, they must also see actions that follow the promises that they make. So words are not enough. They want to see brands actually follow through. So now more than ever, many people care about the brand behind the products they are purchasing. And people want to make sure that their money is going places that align with them, their beliefs, and things that make them feel good spending their money as a consumer. And with the accessibility of the internet, people are doing their research to find out more about brands, what and who they support, where they're donating, and more. So that definitely has a big role in determining the support of a brand and purchase decision now. And one quick discussion prompt for this article. Do you have an experience where you have learned something about a brand, whether that be related to the LGBTQ plus community or anything in general about their beliefs that has negatively or positively affected your purchasing decisions?
Here you'll see an example of LGBTQ targeting in commercials. It is Ford's Very Gay Raptor defines tough for a new generation commercial. Please watch it. And what do you think they did right? What do you think they could have improved on? And do you think the commercial worked for what they were trying to do?
Okay. And for our second commercial, we have chosen kind of a contrasting commercial to the first one, also from a car company, Mercedes-Benz. This commercial came out about 5 years ago during Pride Month and really focuses on inclusion with the LGBTQ plus community, but also just has a theme of inclusion as a whole.
I also want to note that on our title page where you clicked our YouTube link to view this presentation, you can also click those two links to our commercials here that we've shared to make it easier for you guys.
Thank you so much for tuning into our presentation. We hope to interact with you in the discussion and perusal.
Bye.